Q1 on Q sheet 1 is observe breath. When we sense and follow the movements of the diaphragm, that's really the easiest way to observe the breathing. It's the largest and most important muscle associated with breathing, and it creates the most movement in our body. So I have this little syringe here, and I'm using it because I think it demonstrates really well how the diaphragm functions and moves in our body. Right here at the top, you can see the stopper, the black stopper. Think of that as your diaphragm. So when I pull on this, that's like the inhale. So as I inhale, the diaphragm moves down toward the pelvis. And as you can see, it's creating space in the syringe. And in our case, when the diaphragm moves down, it's creating a space, kind of a vacuum, for oxygen. And then when you exhale, the diaphragm releases back up in the direction of the chest and pushes the air out. All of this is happening all the time, and we don't even think about it. But in Q sheet 1, it says observe breath. And I think it's easiest if we can just sense the diaphragm moving on inhalation down toward the pelvis, and on exhalation, it releases back up toward the chest. In the intro part of this set of videos, I talk about why we lay on the floor and how to set up for the floor so you're comfortable. So you might have to go back to that if you haven't seen it yet. And it will explain why I have this towel here. It's nice for underneath my head, and I bring it right up to the shoulders. So to observe the breath, it really is easiest to do it when we're on the floor. Allow yourself to get settled and feel for evenness. So are you even on your pelvis? If your back feels a little tight, you can pull the pelvis underneath you, come back down, and see if that little adjustment helps. Your arms are just at the side, and your head should feel even. And turn your attention to observing your breath, which now we know means observing movements in the body associated with breathing. Maybe you have on your mind that syringe and how the stopper moved in the syringe and how that's like your diaphragm. So when you inhale, your diaphragm moves down toward your belly, and as you exhale, it releases back up in the direction of the chest. Quietly observe this as you lay quietly, making any little adjustments that you might need to be comfortable. As the diaphragm moves down toward the pelvis, it pushes against the organs in the abdominal area, and that causes the belly to move outward when we inhale. So when we inhale, we don't want to be gripping in the lower abdomen. We want that movement to occur easily for the diaphragm to not meet with resistance on inhale. And as you exhale and the diaphragm releases back up toward the chest, let the belly go soft. So right below or right behind the navel there, you can think of it as just being quite soft. I'm going to take your hands now, thinking of them as your teaching hands, and placing them comfortably on your torso. You can make the hands a little soft fists if that feels better, but you're just letting your hands now become an extension of your eyes in a way. So you're observing even more now. As you inhale, you can feel the movements on your ribs. For a lot of us, the breath has a sense of moving up and down the body. We can improve the quality of our breath a little bit by giving the diaphragm an easier time, a little more space, when we also let the breath move horizontally. So if you take your hands now and you move them just a little to the sides of your body, like the side ribs just above your waist. And without gripping or forcing in any way, just place your mind there where you feel the touch of your hands. You're just looking from the inside in a way at that location, and with your next inhalation, send the breath into those side ribs. Be very gentle, and I would avoid trying to take a deep breath or a big breath. You're just changing the trajectory of your breath, the trajectory of the movement of your breath, now into a horizontal plane, so that as you inhale, your breath is moving into those side ribs very gently. And as you exhale, because the diaphragm still releases upward, you can let the belly soften and deepen without pulling on it, just letting it deepen behind the navel there. If you feel any tension at all or any struggling in this, just go back to breathing on the vertical plane, just up and down. You shouldn't feel the need to force this. It'll come if you do this video more than once. And if you are feeling the breath move into the side ribs, also observe that you haven't lost the vertical quality either. So you can watch actually the breath moving not only up and down, but horizontally. Think of the body as being quite receptive and again, avoiding any tension or trying to take a deep breath. A deep breath is not necessarily a better breath. It's more just letting the breath move easily in the body, so vertically, horizontally. One way to think of it is that when you inhale, you're inhaling from the center of the torso, to the periphery. So you're inhaling from the center out to the sides of the body. And then the exhale just gently comes, the exhale just comes gently. You don't have to do anything at all. There's just a passive recoiling of the muscles in the trunk of the body that do that for you. So as you're inhaling from the center to the periphery, exhaling, deepening and softening behind the navel. If your hands are tired or you have a pretty good idea of how the breath is moving now, you can bring the arms back out to the side in any position that's comfortable. And continue to observe your breath. It could be that this is all you need now, and you can go right to the piano and practice the rest of the cues there. However, if you watch the next video, I take you through a whole body movement that will get you in touch with all the other cues as well. I would stretch the legs out at least once here and stay as long as you like. But when you do come out, bend your knees one at a time, roll over to your side, and use your top hand to push yourself up.